for the
Thank you.
children.
Thank you.
All right. So, do you want to move to the next segment and share about the book of
Yeah,
your
sure.
choice?
Definitely, definitely. So, I am currently reading Kahlil Gibran, and it's not as if that I'm reading Kahlil Gibran for the first time or anything like that. But during the current situation, I do not. I mean, one finds solace in reading a book like his, and especially if it is the Prophet. I would be talking about his book, which is called The Prophet, which is a very famous book of his, which is, it's a book which surpasses time and space, I would say. It is applicable to just about all the people across the board, across the nations. It is about the whole of human race as such. But even before we start talking about the book, I would like to talk about the author a little. Khalil Gibran was born in Lebanon in a poor Christian community, in Christian family, and he was born out there. And but at when he was an adolescent, he migrated to the US and he settled down over there. So even though he was a Christian, he had his writing has a lot of influence from the Muslim culture as well, and especially from the Sufism part of Islam. Um, and he was a remarkable writer. He was a remarkable artist. His art is beautiful, and he was a philosopher. He was a mystic, and all his writing, if you go through them, if you read them, you would come across a lot of profound wisdom for all the people across the board. And it is timeless. It is matchless, I would say. And this particular book, which I'm going to be talking about, uh, it is a prose poetry. The English which has been used in the book, it is a little, it is not that regular English that we read nowadays. It is a little, I would say, it's unusual that you will come across this kind of English in any of the books currently in the present times. So it's not so easy to read also. And it is not a regular book kind of a book, in the sense that it does not have a plot. It is not as if there's one event which is leading to another, and you are just carrying on reading the book in that sense. It is more like way of rumination, meditation, I would say. You read a particular chapter, and then you would like to just sit with the thought that that chapter will leave you with, and you would like to meditate about it. Even though it is just a 97 page book, even then I have taken a lot of time, a long time to go through the book. I'm, as it is, not a very fast reader. When I read books, I do not just go through them very quickly and just finish off a book. I do not read books like that. And this particular book, you will not enjoy it also. So it is about spirituality, it is about philosophy, it also deals with a lot of human psychology. So it has a lot of wisdom to offer. um, the story, I mean, the way it begins, there is this person called Al Mustafa, who has been in exile in a island called Orphalese. And for 12 years he has been in exile on that island, and now his ship is arriving, he's about to leave, and he's making all preparations for his journey to begin. And the people of this island, when they get to know that this person is leaving, Al Mustafa is leaving the island, they have formed such a close connection with him that they all come clamoring for him, and they want to they gather around him, and they want to take seek the most of his wisdom in terms of all aspects of life. And he has so much to tell them. And so this book is a narration of his wisdom, what he offered to the people on that island at that before he left the island. And these were his gifts to those people. When he talks about love, he talks about marriage, he talks about children, giving, he talks about crime, punishment, reason, passion, teaching, work, just about most aspects, death, pain, judgment, all these aspects of human life that we go through. And each of the chapters has so much in-depth offering to give you. There's so much of a gift out there, that if you are open to receiving that gift, then it can be a life-changing experience for anybody who's reading this book. It would impact your consciousness, your way of thinking, and perhaps your way of living life as well. If you are really, making your consciousness expand, and you're wanting to move ahead on your own life journey. So this book is a beautiful, beautiful book, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who is, who's seeking certain answers in life, or who are wanting. And it cannot be said that spirituality can be only done at a certain age or anything like that. Even really young people, they are opening themselves up, and they are looking for certain answers in life, and they would get all the kinds of answers in this book. So it is very difficult to talk about the book in this way. So I would like to read from a couple of chapters, and you will be able to really get a sense of what the whole book has to offer. So if you permit, I would like
Yeah,
to read.
sure. Please, please.
Yeah. So this
Can I see
particular,
the book? Like, can you show me
yeah,
how the
oh
book
yes,
looks like?
yes, yes, yes. This is the book.
Oh,
Uh,
yes. Okay. So
yeah, it
that's
has.
a thick book, right? Yeah, I do have that book, and it's
Yeah,
the chapter which you're referring. Got it.
yeah. So the prophet is the name of the book is the prophet, and this chapter is on children. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. They may house their bodies, you may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You were the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. So this is such an evolved way of viewing one's own children. Um,
Yeah, that's beautiful about
yeah,
the thought, right?
yes, and
That's so beautiful.
and frankly, Monica, as an educator and as a parent, I do feel that children are their own sovereign beings. They are not our extensions. A lot of times, we as grown-ups, as caregivers, as educators, as parents, we forget about that, and we try to impose ourselves, our ideas, our belief systems, and our own attitudes, all these things on our children. We forget that that is the place where they have to be given utmost freedom, to be able to think for themselves, to be able to critically analyze things for themselves, and to be able to move forward in life with that openness of mind, which perhaps we did not get. So if we allow them to be who they are, guiding them once in a while, of course, we have the duty to guide them and to protect them whenever they need it. But we don't have the onus or the privilege to mold their thoughts as how we want them to. That is how we can break that chain or that cycle of dysfunctionality happening generations after generations.
Yeah,
We have to allow.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And specifically, I think, to put into context with our generation and maybe the next generation. Lot of parents have an influence on the choice of children's career path, right?
Yeah,
There are many speakers, young people who have come to my show telling that, hey, I didn't want to become a doctor. I wanted to pursue music, but I did not get support, or,
yeah,
whatever be the case.
yeah,
So yeah, absolutely. I think that was really beautiful. But I
yeah,
do see hope, because I do see now a lot of people are being supported. Parents are, listening to the thoughts and idea about what their child wants, and,
yeah.
kind of opening up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we have to create those spaces where children can critically, question us,
Yes,
even their own parents for that matter. That is how even we are going to grow as people, as human beings. And we forget that it's a very beautiful thought, Monica, which I would like to share, that when an artist creates their art, and they put it out in the world, then it no longer belongs to that artist. The
yep,
artist is just vessel through whom the idea has flowed, and it has manifested in whichever form, be it a song, be it a painting, be it whatever form of art. After once when it has been created, it belongs to the world. Same is the
yep.
case with our children. Once they are out in the world, we have to, our duty is to nurture them, to help them move ahead in their journeys, but we don't have to curb their freedom and their sovereignty.
Yeah,
That's what I feel.
definitely. That's beautiful. Really well timed and lovely choice of book. Um, I definitely have that in my library. I haven't read that part, but I'm going to go look for that chapter, and I'm going to check
You
that
must,
out. But
you
yeah, I
must.
think this is like
In
a
fact,
great, yes, go ahead.
yeah, in fact, I would like to highly recommend this chapter on giving also, which is just after this chapter about children. You must go to that chapter and read that chapter, and it is so relevant in the current times, in the present times. Why? Because you there are so many stories of people going out and doing these acts of giving. They are giving several things. They are giving, let's say, rations or money or whatever it is, and a lot many times you will find these same people clicking pictures and posting them on the social media, or wherever it, for their own gains. So the whole act of giving is not there, of course it is not there, but this particular chapter, it talks of the act of giving and receiving so beautifully, that the giving is receiving. When you're giving something to somebody, first of all, the material things that you're giving, that is the most, I would say, the easiest thing that you can give to anybody. When you're giving anything of yourself, your time, your loyalty, your love, your affection, your empathy, when you are putting yourself out there, that is something which you are giving completely and fully. And to be able to receive something like that is also a very, very beautiful part of life. That is how we make connections with people.
Right,
So
absolutely,
that is
absolutely.
the chapter. When, if you have the book in your library, you must read that chapter when once you've taken care of all these chats and talks and conversations.
Yeah, definitely I will. Yeah, my brother-in-law had given me as a gift, and I have read one story, and I remember being very mesmerized about the way he had written, because it's kind of timed, right? It's not of modern time. And so I was like, wow, the description. But yeah, I'm going to look it up and read that. So thank you so much for sharing. Is